Articulation error. Non-living objects. Surrender, mutant.
Of course. Not.
Hello, gang, and welcome to Displaying-Model-Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest video podcast with one of the biggest reviews that I've done for a long time. It is the 97 Sentinel from Marvel Legends, and this is coming courtesy of friend of the show, C. Carrion. This is his Marvel Legends Sentinel. More specifically, this is his Marvel Legends Sentinel, but he sent it to me so I can do the review. God bless you, sir. Doff of the cap, can of Coke. You win the Model Behavior Award for today, because this guy I am very, very pleased to have in hand. Do I like him? No, not really, but I'm going to tell you why, and also why that's not really fair, because it's just my aesthetic choices. Well, actually, I just told you, it's just my aesthetic choices that I don't really care for him so much for my display. But if you're getting a very animated style X-Men display, then you know what? This guy might be right up your street. He's got some good points, some bad points, and a few that are just about in the middle. You want to hear about him? Here it goes. So let's just kick things off talking about the packaging, the presentation to start with. It's your very nice, typical Hasbro presentation and packaging. They do really well with their graphics. This Sentinel here, it's nice that kind of you see exactly what you're getting. Would a plastic window have been kind of nice? Yes, but also at the same time, I can see why they wouldn't do it. When you got a plastic window this big, it will eventually deteriorate. You know how plastic can like dry out in the sun and turn kind of yellowy and fragment? And yeah, that would happen. If you want to have like a mint box for years and years, you got to have him living in this cardboard box. You've been living in a box. You've been living in a cardboard box. That's going to be in your head for the rest of the day now. So yeah, the presentation looks kind of nice, but also this is where my personal alarm bells start to ring. This on the back here, it looks really like just like a children's toy kind of design. And heaven forbid that a children's toy looks like a children's toy. I'm being facetious, of course, but also not really, because these aren't for children. They're not. This was a, what was it, 185 pounds? Not sure how much it was in US dollary dues, but it's a lot of money. Like, the facade is gone. These are not children's toys. The recent demographic showed that these are adults. And just, I don't know, I understand you want to recapture like the nostalgia of toys and things as well. I get that. I dig it. I respect it. But also, I want to have something that just feels a bit more cool, a bit more badass, you know, because look at me, I am a cool and badass person. So I need my toys to be cool and badass, to match me, who, as I said before, is cool and badass. So when we get him out of the box, though, we do have a very impressive looking action figure. He's a big, chonking hunk of action figure, kind of like me. But that's where my excitement kind of like, it sort of peaks out. Because he's also just done so much in the 97 style. Obviously, holding him here, I've got the battle damage components on. I like that. So it's just, he's great. Like, I tell you what, perfect. 5 stars, Hasbro, 5 stars for recreating the cartoon. Like, boom, there you go. You genuinely couldn't have done it better. See, like I'm saying, this ain't my cup of tea aesthetically, but I'm not going to take away, this is well done. Like, it really is. And also, like, this is the comic style as well. But I do always feel that just because you can translate something from one medium to another almost perfectly, that doesn't mean that the perfect translation actually looks good in the new medium. Because on a flat 2D comic panel, this is what it looks like, especially in the old school comics. But then in a 3-dimensional action figure, it just feels a little bit cheap to me to have the flat matte colors. You put this guy next to the HasLab Sentinel, and I know that's a more expensive figure, but it's the metallic paintwork. It's more of the little itty bitty. That is an example. That's a perfect example of taking a comic book design and then reinterpreting it into a style that will match the new medium. Whereas this is taking the original design and just keeping it and being completely wholeheartedly beholden to recreating it in action figure form, which they've done, and they've done really well. Am I belaboring the point? I think I probably am. You know me, never short of a few words. So yeah, if you want an X-Men 97 display, then this 100%, it's perfect. The only thing that's not perfect necessarily is the price. That is entirely up to you. It's so difficult to say, yes, this is worth the money. Because I don't know. Like, so many people will ask me, like, "Oh, Dave, I'm thinking of getting this. Is it worth the money?" I don't know. How much do you love it? If you love and adore X-Men 97, then holy cheese and crackers. Of course you're going to want this boy. He's perfect. But if you're like, nah, I'm kind of ambivalent, I prefer more of a comic collection, then $200 is like total waste of money. Because I genuinely, I wouldn't want this. Like, if you know, he doesn't go in my display. I'll splice some B-roll. I did a little experimentation. I put him in my X-Men display, and it's fun to have this guy, the HasLab Sentinel, and the statue all together. But also, he sticks out like a sore thumb. You know? So if you've got a largely comic book style display, you can get a bunch of these. You know what? The Marvel Legends police, they're not going to be knocking on your door. They're not going to be dragging you into the station and charging you with mixing genres or whatever. But with my eyes, I'm like, nah, he just stands out a little bit too much. But if you go in super animated, boom, you're going to be very happy. No complaints there. So that being said, let's just look top to bottom at the figure, because there is a lot to like. So the heads, I'll be splicing in footage of both heads, but I much prefer the battle-damaged head because it's got that little bit more detail and depth. It feels more three-dimensional because it is. Because you've got the cracked away plastic with the teeth in there. People can ask, why does a robot need teeth? I'll tell you why. Because it looks creepy. And sometimes looking creepy is half the battle. I think that looks great. And then you've got the little wires and, you know, gears and cables inside there. That's adding more of that real gnarly detail that I would have loved to have seen more of on this figure. Also, the eyes look like they should light up. They don't, but that's the funny thing. You can say, oh, well, there's no sounds, there's no lights. That's Hasbro keeping the cost down. But is that cost transferred to the to the customer? Because I feel like taking out these components and keeping costs down should result in a slightly cheaper product. That's all I'm thinking. Also, with the swap out parts, you've got the dome of the head. It is just one head, unlike the HasLab. But that's all you need, because you've got the alternate cap, the head cap, I guess you could call it. That just pops on to give the battle damaged look, and it clicks on nicely. You know when it's in place there. And then the faceplate as well, that just pops out, but not too easily. You're not going to have to worry about this just randomly falling out whenever you've got him displayed. It won't. That'll stick in place. And that's another thing that I really, really like about this figure. You hear this? Oh, ratchets. Ratchets, so it's like Buzz Lightyear. Ratchets everywhere. They learned their lesson. The Hasbro team, you learned your lesson from the HasLab Sentinel. We got ratchets out the wazoo. This dude, once you put him in a pose, he's gonna hold it. My only worry or concern would be because the feet are plastic, you know, nice, smoothish plastic. If you've got them on a very smooth surface, they might slip and slide. Some rubber on the soles of the feet, oh, that would have made a big difference. But I appreciate it's not necessarily a practical thing to do. Going down from the head, it's great that you've got the separate articulation on the neck as well. So you've got the ball joint on the head, and then also the neck moves lower down as well. So you can get a little bit more movement with the head. Not a huge range of motion. But then again, it's a Sentinel. You kind of want to have them looking like blocks anyway. I wonder how much they could have done this for if they actually took out all of the articulation, just had them like, yeah, maybe 5 points, just stop, mutant. That would have actually been okay, maybe. But then going on down, all the little sculpted detail, it is nice. You know, don't think it's too flat. It does have all of this sculpted in. It's nice. The difference of colors in the tones of the purples, that works really well. Of course, you got the great battle damaged bit at the front here, which if you take it off, there's even a nice kind of arc reactor looking, you know, detail underneath here. It's good stuff. It's good extra work there. And that clips on really easily as well. So you can swap these between battle damaged and regular super easy. Barely an inconvenience. And the wires coming out the front, it's a nice touch. It is a nice touch. Then with the waist swivel, swiveling my microphone out the way. With the waist swivel, this is nicely incorporated as well. It's the ball joint, so it goes all the way around, a full 360. You done a 360 on me, brother. And also, the waist band is kind of a soft rubber as well, which means that when you do tilt him and turn him, it does contour slightly with his hip movements, so you don't get a big, ugly, flat disc waist swivel or anything like that. Plus, it doesn't look like he's wearing a rubber diaper either, because his crotch is solid plastic. It's just the top bit that's a little bit softer to accommodate the movement. Nice. Good thinking. What beautifully done, Hasbro. Also, just before I miss them out, the shoulders, you hear the nice ratchet joints. Again, they're going to hold in place. Double jointed elbows as well. Doesn't allow for a huge range of motion. He can do about a 90 degrees. That's about it. But again, doesn't need to be super duper articulated. I'm fine with that. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying it's a Sentinel. And then the digits on the hands are really nice, all fully articulated. Each little knuckle there you can move about, and it's great. This works with robots. Giant Man, not so much. Looks a bit weird, but for robots, that's great. And he can grip your action figures as well. You love to see that. It's not the strongest grip, but if you balance things just right, wrap his digits around a leg or something like that, it'll work perfectly. But if you don't want to have him hold them, you can use the coils, which is great. From the HasLab, the coils and the blast effects from this guy are interchangeable. I didn't think they were at first. And then I had a little play around. Boom. There you go. So that's really nice. This guy has the blast effects that the HasLab should have had. So now if you do have the two, you can swap those around and reincorporate them. You'll love to see that. That's really great. Going on down the body now. Everything else, like it's built like a regular Marvel Legend. And I do appreciate the way that they've done the feet as well, because the Sentinel feet are tricky. Like in the comics, in the animation, like they're smooth. So where do you incorporate the joint? And they've done a good job of giving him these kind of 70s disco cuffs, but they work. And even on the bottom, you've got the booster jets there as well. So aesthetically, as I said, they've done a perfect job, literally a perfect job of recreating the cartoon medium. It's just not an aesthetic that I'm after. But I can't fault the Hasbro team whatsoever. Like, they have nailed this look. Bit of a shame that you've got some screw holes here, some peg holes. I mean, I say peg holes. It is actual, big heavy-duty screws in there. Some heavy-duty booty. But it's just a little bit of a shame. It's only a tiny aesthetic thing. But if you were just marking some points and grades, I'd be like, okay, well, you could maybe consider that a little bit of a downside. But it's only a small one. With all that considered, I think it's about time to give this guy a grade. So for the Marvel Legends HasLab Sentinel, I'm going to give this guy 3.5 stars out of 5. I almost feel a little bit bad just giving him 3.5, because you could say 4, but the price is quite expensive. And genuinely, like I said, it's up to you. I mean, to me, I don't need him for my display, but if you love the animated look, then you won't even balk at the price for a second. I know so many people online who have told me they've bought 3 of these or 5 of these, and God bless you, because when you get them all together, it's gonna look amazing. It's just not the aesthetic that matches my appeal. So for me, it's 3.5 stars. For you, it might be 5 stars with a boom seal of model behavior. That's entirely up to you, and comment below. Let me know what this has proven. I think certainly, although Dragon Man kind of proved it as well, the Hasbro Pulse made-to-order model, it works. I think this coupled with the Tron HasLab failing might have been the death knell for HasLabs. I don't know, because G.I. Joe is still doing all right. But I think this business model, it seems to work. I miss the fun and the hype and the hoopla of HasLabs, but this might be the way to go in the future. So gang, what do you think about the Marvel Legends HasLab X-Men 97 Sentinel? Comment below. Let me know. And all the names going up the side of me, well, you guys are channel members and you help support me to make these videos, and especially C. Carrion for sending me his Sentinel. Dude, thank you so much. I will put that back in the box and get it sent back to you. So gang, thank you very much for watching. And until next time, halt, mutant, and keep displaying model behavior.